Chapter 1. Friday, the Jack Russell Terrier was tied up at the end of his makeshift leash, wrapped around tightly at a lamppost. It wasn't the first time that the Jack Russell found himself in this situation. So he sat with his tail thumping on the pavement. He waited patiently for his humans to emerge from a nearby store. Friday would be content to keep waiting if it hadn't been for that man down the street who was holding one of the world's most delicious hot dogs. Friday could hardly ignore the scent, so he had no choice to follow his nose. So as he'd done many times before, the little dog shook back his head and forth, loosened his neck. Ducking his head, he flattened his ears and crawled out of the leash. Oh, sweet freedom. Friday followed the scent down the hot dog down the busy street, dodging pedestrians, baby strollers, bikes, and with a single-minded purpose, hot dogs! At last, Friday was reached his goal. The hot dog was in the hand of a man sitting on the bench. There was just one bite of the hot dog left. Friday knew what to do. He stood up on his hind legs, stared at the man with the saddest expression he could muster, and started to whimper. Oh, what's the matter, doggy? Do you want some? The man taunted. He held the hot dog to Friday and waved it under his nose. As soon as Friday moved to take a bite, the man snatched the hot dog away from Friday's reach. Friday barked in frustration. Arf! Arf! Just in a large truck whooshed through the streets and roared through a puddle, splashing the man with water. Friday saw his chance. He jumped, snatched the wet hot dog, and swallowed it down in one gulp. He then scampered away, leaving the wet and angry man to sulk behind him. After all, it wasn't every day a dog taught a human how to behave. Hurry up, Andy said. Her little brother Bruce was taking too much time in the bathroom as usual. Almost done, the 11-year-old called through the door. Bruce rummaged through his backpack and into the tiny public bathroom. He grabbed out a bunch of rocks and laid them in their hand. Nah, too heavy, he thought. He went to grab another rock. This one was too light. He felt like Goldilocks as he searched for the rock that was just right. What is taking so long? Andy hissed. This is a delicate progress, Bruce replied as he found the perfect rock. He placed it gently into an empty cell phone box and then shifted to his seat. He then grabbed the piece of large... Bruce placed the sheet on top and held the entire thing under the hand dryer. Dryer then punched the button. The dryer roared to life. The hot air clasped the plastic shrink wrap too tight around the cell phone box. Blah! Instant shrink wrap. I'm done, Bruce said. He opened the door and tossed the box to his 16-year-old sister. Catching it easily, Annie tucked the box under her arm and walked towards the pawn shop as Bruce crossed his fingers. When Annie reached the pawn shop, she took a deep breath and closed her eyes for a moment. People will believe anything as long as you tell them with confidence, she reminded herself. A guy wearing a leather jacket and a cap walked up to the pawn shop. He was the perfect mark, so she watched him enter the store and then stroll out after him. Do you buy my electronic stuff? Andy asked the pawnbroker. The old man glanced over his shoulder and stared at the electricity devices behind him. It was clearly a stupid question. Duh, hello, Andy snickered as she got his gaze. She didn't start her smile. So I got this phone, you see, and I never opened it. And it's still shrink-wrapped and anything. It still cost me $2 and need to sell it. The pawnbroker was not moved. Take it back where you brought it, kid, he said. And he continued, I brought it with cash. I misled the receipt. And then right when I got home, I got a call that I might lose my job because I forgot to go. Anyways, I really can't afford it anymore. I might sell it to you for $100. The store owner stared at her a moment. Annie felt an urge to chew her lip. The guy in the leather jacket looked back, hoping for sympathy. Then the pawnbroker took the box from her. Are you even 18? He asked. Of course, she answered. I'm flattered you asked, though. You made my day. Wait till I tell my kids. The pawnbroker frowned. Annie knew she'd gone too far to not remark about the kids. I'm actually 16, she confessed. I am almost 18, though. Shaking his head, the pawnbroker handed the cell phone box back to her. Annie gave an exasperated sigh and turned to leave, but not before glancing to see if the guy took the bait. She got no answer a moment later when he followed her out of the store. Mind if I take a look? He asked. Annie shrugged and handed him the cell phone box. The guy looked at the box for a moment, and then, I'll give you $20 for it, he offered. Done! And he said, score 1 for confidence. Oh! So, how'd we do? Bruce asked when Annie met up with him later. $20, Annie replied. Nobody questions the shrink wrap, Bruce said with satisfaction. They went towards the lamppost for Friday. They leave them after the hot dog. He cleaned up a popsicle dropped by a toddler, eaten half a banana, and found potato chips from a girl. Little did he know humans knew what to do when he really been up to. When Bruce reached down to untie him, he noticed that the dog's collar slipped off and the siblings were impressed. And he laid it right here, Annie said. Oh, what a good boy. Friday wagged his tail happily. Good boy indeed. The Freedom went inside the park where Bruce fed Friday several cheeseburgers and watched in amazement as he wolfed them all down. Is it normal for any animal to consume 10% of its body weight in one meal? Andy asked. It happens, but usually after they do it, they hibernate for at least 6 months, Bruce said. Friday finished his meal and turned acceptantly to Andy and Bruce. Bruce looked at Friday from his own cheeseburger, then back to Friday again. Andy scratched the top of Friday's head, right behind the ears. Do you have any idea where we go to feel for your bottomless pit? She asked. Friday barked. Ruff! I see that's a yes, Bruce says he reluctantly tore off a cheese of his piece burger and then tore it to the dog. Suddenly Annie jumped up. Uh-oh, here comes trouble. The guy who brought his phone was heading their way. And this time he had company in the form of a mean old police officer. This can't be good, Bruce croaked. Annie quickly issued a sharp command to Friday. Go! She warned. The dog hurried off to hide. Bruce wanted to say the same, but he wasn't quick enough. He fumbled with his backpack as the officer got closer and closer. Andy, on the other hand, knew that there was only one way in this situation. She picked up her bag and walked towards the men. "Excuse me, miss. I'm Officer Mike. Could I talk to you for a moment?" the policeman said as Andy approached. "Me?" Andy said, trying to do her impression of the world's coolest newcomer. "That's her. She's the girl who ripped me off," the guy said. "What? I never seen this guy in my life," Andy lied. She tried to think of something. Then as lying, it was true. The sweaty stretching this truth, or at least needing it between her sweaty palms. "Oh, she's lying. She's the one who ran the scam." And he said, "This guy again." Annie chuckled. "Thank goodness you're here, officer. This guy's been stalking me all day. I'm a little freaked out." Officer Mike regarded her carefully, but he wasn't buying her story at all. "Confident," Annie reminded herself. But that was before Bruce ran smack into a second police officer. "Hey, Mike! Get a look at this!" the second police officer said, pointing to Bruce and spilling everything out of his backpack. Well, what do we have here?" Officer Mike asked his partner. Several rugs, sheets of plastic, and an empty iPod box all tumbled to the ground. That's pretty weird, huh?" Bruce said, trying to sound innocent. Annie made one last ditch effort to turn things around. "Those are my brother's arts and craft project," she said. But Officer Mike was convinced. "Oh, yeah? Well, this might be the first time arts and crafts ever landed anybody in jail, young lady."